My name is Colin Hancock, and today we are doing an album for Rivermont Records looking at the impact of the college bands of the 19-teens through the 1930s.
It's been really interesting approaching this as a college group just because of the fact that we're representing bands that were playing this jazz in the 20s and had a huge influence on the actual spread of the music through the United States.
It feels like I have some kind of home court advantage for the first time playing what was historically a college band, and it kind of gives me that kind of confidence approaching this music to know that, you know, in terms of age, we are the same.
One of the most exciting parts of this is that we're doing a lot of historical research on, like, not just the history of jazz at Cornell, but with other institutions. Some of us have been working with other people with historical research about other institutions and the jazz history of those institutions.
We're focused on three different types of schools. The first being Ivy League schools, and we are continuing Cornell's legacy in that genre. The next is African American schools, and then Middle America, which has only been recorded through regional recording studios or field trip recordings.
You know, a lot of the music of these college bands is pretty obscure and not well known. But a lot of the musicians that went through these bands ended up having very important impacts on jazz and popular music. I mean, anything from Disney soundtracks to jazz standards and just notable names in all sorts of different facets.
This is actually my first year playing with this group, so it's really exciting that I'm getting to record. It's definitely been a huge learning process for me. This is a style of music, a style of jazz that I've never really previously played before, and it's been just so great. It's been made me such a more flexible and just broader player in general.
This project is super exciting for me because a lot of this music has been lost or was never actually recorded, and so we get the chance to really bring this music out into the public where it's never been before. Super excited personally because a lot of this music has pretty crazy instrumentation, a lot of instruments that you don't really see anymore. It's been really challenging to really get that kind of feel that a lot of these bands had back in the day, but it's really rewarding to kind of be able to hear what it would have sounded like if a lot of these bands had the technology and had all of the recording processes that we do today.
It's an honor, a joy, a privilege to be part of transferring musical traditions from one generation to the next. Knowing that there are people fascinated by the same musical heroes that fascinated me, and that they are trying not just to recreate and revive that music, but have a similar sense of wonder in its artifacts and relics. It gives great satisfaction. This collegiate project, referring to a specific connecting chapter of American jazz, utterly shines with all those elements of that sacred transferal.
One of the amazing things about this project is the connections we make to 1920s college students, and more importantly, 1920s college musicians.
One of the perks of the album is the 40-page booklet, which is really comprehensive and tells the stories of the bands as well as our own.
But there's also this fantastic point where we track our own lineage back to the Cornell Collegians, and more importantly, back to Spiegel Wilcox.
I met Spiegel Wilcox about 25 years ago when he was playing with Johnny Russo and others up at a hotel bar, and my wife and I would go listen to him every week. Got to know him pretty well.
As a teenager, I think I was 13 or 14, got the opportunity to play with Spiegel Wilcox. He guested with an ensemble that I played in the youth ensemble. A funny story about him is he was so well known in his community that to send him a letter, all you had to do was put a trombone stamp on the envelope and the zip code, and everybody knew who Spiegel was, and it went right to Spiegel Wilcox.
I don't know, it really was just like an honor to follow in Spiegel's footsteps with the Cornell Collegiate versions of I Cried For You. Spiegel's got such a dark, beautiful tone and such amazing vibrato. I've been working on it for the last few months, and he was one of the giants and one of the greats.
Coming from more of a classical piano background, learning stride, that a brand new idiom has been a big challenge, but really something that I've been able to sink my teeth into and get excited about, especially given the opportunity to work alongside the incredible Ed Clute, who's an inspiration and phenomenal player, with virtuoso in the style.
As a classical musician, I don't really get very many opportunities to play pieces where I really just get to go for it, and it kind of gives me an opportunity just to really experiment with different styles in the violin.
Being a part of the Syncopators, it taught me how to use lots of different mutes. Before I was in the Syncopators, I probably only knew how to use a straight mute, and now I get to do lots of fun things with my hand.
I came in with a lot of experience singing jazz, but only jazz. I don't think I'd ever sang a standard before 1935. I grew up on Ella Fitzgerald, and I sang a lot of Ella Fitzgerald with the Cornell Jazz Band, but when Colin first asked me to sing for the Syncopators, I had to learn a different type of diction, different compositional choices. I learned what it means to sing jazz at the very beginning of jazz.
She just does such a great job. Like, she has this voice that really suits the style really well. It's very just like low and raspy, and I don't know, I'm like obsessed with her. I like love hearing her sing it every single time.
I'm incredibly excited for this album. Recording it is certainly one of my favorite memories from senior year. Not just because of the incredible musicianship, but because I got to record it with some of my best friends.
It's been really just a big journey from really when we started till now.
Been a real pleasure getting up to this point, working with these fine musicians behind me.
It's incredibly exciting working on this project.
It's so rare that you find a group of people who not only want to play 1910 style jazz, but are also just so exceptionally good at it.
I don't know, there's some kind of magic going on.